Hello and welcome back. We've reached our final week of managing challenging behaviors, and what a journey it has been. I'm incredibly proud of how far you have come, and I hope that these past 12 weeks have been empowering for you and your family. And in this final session together, we will be tackling a common challenge that I've heard time and time again from families that I've worked with, which is I'm not sure what motivates my child. The truth is, every child is motivated by something. And in this tutorial, it's all about helping you discover what that thing is. So once you've unlocked what motivates them, it will be much easier for you to motivate them to learn and gain new skills. So let's begin. So to kick off this week's topic, we are going to watch these two short videos. And now, if you grew up in an Asian culture just like I did, this might look familiar. It's a traditional first birthday practice where parents will place a variety of symbolic items in front of their child, which you can see here: calculator, credit card, keyboard, and whatever the child picks is believed to hint at their future career, interest, or personality. So let's see what this little boy picked.
他没有办法决定，
你要拿到才可以，这样子没有。
你拿，
你要什么？你要什么？
And this boy have chosen a credit card. And here's a fun one, a modern twist from other parts of the world where kids get to pick their very first Pokemon. Just like the tradition, it's a playful way to predict a bit about who they are or who they might become. So let's see what this little boy picked. Clearly he doesn't like Pikachu. And he has picked Squirtle. So the process I'll be guiding you through today is actually quite similar to this process. We will be observing your child's natural preferences to get a better sense of what items you can utilize to boost their motivation in acquiring new skills. So are you ready? Let's go. So to help you derive to what your child actually likes, this assessment called the MSWO, which also stands for Multiple Stimuli Without Replacement, will be used in the process. So as the name suggests, your child will be presented a selection of items like what you just saw just now. And once the item is chosen, let's say in this case, elephant, helicopter, and fidget spinner, then your child has chosen the elephant. It will be removed from the next round of choices. So without replacement. So removed, and the next choice, he only gets to choose between the helicopter and the fidget spinner. Now it's time for you to determine what are the potential reinforcers and how much motivation your child actually needs. I will link the download of the datasheet in the description box below. So here we're going to identify what are the potential reinforcers. We're going to start with the least intrusive to the most intrusive. Why? Because less intrusive motivators are easier to fade over time compared to the more intrusive ones. So it helps your child to build independence without becoming overly reliant on external rewards. So a less intrusive motivation will look like songs and videos, toys, and then we move on to food. So just think in terms of, if it's more tangible, then it's more intrusive. So here are three main categories of motivation that you can take reference from, but feel free to add more based on your child's interest. So least intrusive to the most intrusive. Just keep in mind that once these items are chosen, they should be set aside from their regular diet. So let's say if your child likes the certain food, then you cannot give that specific snack on a regular basis anymore. Or if your child really likes that toy, then you cannot give that toy on a regular basis as well. So this will help to maintain the effectiveness of the motivators, and it will remain exclusive and special for your child. Great, so now let's dive straight into the 7 key steps to implement MSWO. Number 1 is to set up without your child. Once you have selected a category and listed the items, get everything ready ahead of time out of your child's sight. This will help to prevent unnecessary excitement or power struggles before the activity begins. So we need the 5 items that you have previously selected, and then a tray or a big plate to contain your items, a file or a book, and lastly, your data sheet. Now moving on to step 2, which is to involve your child. Once everything is ready, invite your child to sit across you at the table or on the floor. If your child tend to grab everything at once, involve another adult if possible. Get the adult to sit diagonally behind your child to prompt your child with a weight card, or to prompt your child physically by holding your child back and asking them to wait while you carry out the assessment itself. Next, step 3 is to use a clipboard or a file. So place the clipboard or a file in front of the item. This will be used as a barrier. I will explain a little bit more about this later. Okay, now before I show you the model video for steps 4 to 6, let me walk you through what you will be seeing. For step 4, you will start by saying, take 1. While lifting the barrier of the clipboard, if your child tries to take more than one item, gently just block their hand and repeat, take 1. So just tell your child what they need to do and say you can choose again later. Moving on to step 5 is when your child gets to enjoy the item that they picked. So if they pick a toy, then you can set a timer for 15 to 30 seconds. If it's a food item, then you let them finish the food before continuing. My suggestion is that you do not give such a big packet of food, not like an entire packet of potato chips. So just maybe one piece or a small piece of potato chip on the plate as an option. Next, rotate is for food items and to remove song or toy items. In this case, example, if your child picked the strawberry, we're going to rotate from the extreme left to the extreme right. If it's from your point of view, then it's from the right to the left. This step of shuffling is essential so that your child does not always choose from one side, which keeps the results more accurate. So now let's watch the model video. Take 1. Strawberries. At this point of time, while your child is enjoying their snack, close the barrier and rearrange it, bringing the item on the extreme right to the extreme left. To add on, the recording of data should be done simultaneously. We will go into that shortly. Then repeat the steps until your child have chosen all the items on the plate. Alternatively, the test will also conclude when your child refuses the items on the plate. To recap what you just saw, we're going to move on to step 7, which is to repeat step 4 to 6 until all the items has been chosen. So in that case, the child has chosen all 5 selections on the plate and then done. Or if your child no longer wants to make a selection. From the previous video example, the child did not want the M&M. Then we stop the trial over there. Let's look at how to record the data on the data sheet. In this example that you've just saw, the child picked the strawberry first. So we're gonna record strawberry and circle the position where the strawberry was placed, on the board or on the plate itself. Another example is that next he picked the gummy bear and where was the gummy bear placed. So we do the same for the rest of the items as they are chosen. And now I'll show you how to tally the scores that you have collected in a repetition of the assessment in the next 2 to 3 days to find out your child's top preferences. Now we're going to add up the items according to their rank. So our first item is the strawberry, ranking number 1 plus 1 plus 1. Look downwards. In total, we have 1 times 3 equals to 3. Next, we will look at our gummy bear as our next item. So over here, gummy bear is ranked number 2. The next day, it was ranked number 3 and then number 2 again. So we're going to add 2 plus 3 plus 2, which makes up the number 7. Now repeat all the steps for all the items on your list. And next, we're going to take a look at M&Ns and the dash that you see on day 2. We are going to eliminate M&Ns as a potential reinforcer altogether, solely because on day 2, even though the child was given an M&N as an option, he chose to reject it. So we concluded that this is not a strong enough reinforcer to motivate him to work for something eventually. Now we have our scores. We're going to look at the least preferred item, which is the highest number of total score that we have added up, which is, in this case, is the potato chips, scoring at a high score of 12. Next, we're going to identify the moderate preferred item, which is the middle ground between what your child is most motivated by and the least motivated by. So in this case, you would see that the middle ground would be 7. Since we have a tie here, which is gummy bear and Oreo, then we can put both of them down on our score sheet as a potential option to motivate our child, more than the potato chips. Last but not least, we have a clear winner over here, which is the child's most preferred item, the strawberry. And the data sheet is complete. Let's dive back into how we can use this information to our advantage to motivate our child consistently throughout the work session. Now that you've identified your child's motivation from the most to the least preferred, we can use this to our advantage. By reinforcing them in the order of preference, we keep the motivation high. So what's next? So in this case, we see that the least motivating item would be the potato chips, followed by the gummy bear and the Oreo, and the most motivating item is strawberries. So we're gonna consider these two factors. How long will my child be working for? So for example, if your child needs to work for an hour with you, start with the least motivating items such as the potato chips. As your child starts to lose interest or becomes restless, increase their motivation with something more reinforcing, like the gummy bear or the Oreo. And I sometimes like to reserve the most motivating item, like the strawberries, for days when my child is particularly unmotivated. So it's not every session he gets to eat strawberries with me. So this way, they wouldn't also expect it at every session, making your life slightly easier. Next is, how difficult is the task? So you can ask yourself this: how difficult is this task for my child? So the more challenging and tedious the task is, the more motivation the child needs. So this helps to boost their motivation and encourage them to complete the task more efficiently and more effectively. Let's do a quick recap. First, identify the 5 reinforcing items by selecting a category and choosing your items that your child enjoy. Next is to prepare the items and follow the 7 key steps to carry out MSWO. After that, collect the data by recording your child's selection. Finally, use the data to your advantage by reinforcing your child based on their preferences from the least motivating item to the most motivating item. And this wraps up our behavioral series, and I'm excited to see how using MSWO has helped you identify your child's motivation and made learning fun again. Once again, I'm Athena, a parent coach, ABA educational and social skills therapist for children with autism and other developmental delays. It has been a true pleasure guiding you through these 12 weeks, and I hope you have felt empowered along the way. If you need more support or guidance, don't hesitate to reach out by scanning the QR code over here. I am here for you, and with that, stay safe, be empowered, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.